here we are, the Toy Biz Marvel Superhero line, the subject of our next series of vintage reviews, the line that started it all. I want to say the first successful Marvel action figure line. It eventually turned into Toy Biz Marvel Legends, which eventually turned into Hasbro Marvel Legends. So this came first. I mean, there were other little iterations and other characters that jumped in between. We had the Toy Biz X-Men line, which we did as well. We had that Toy Biz Fantastic Four line, which we showed you. And after this line ended in '94, there was a little gap, and then the Marvel Legends line came out. A lot of these characters are their first appearance in an action figure form. The 60s and 70s, we had Mego, we had other dolls, but there weren't action figures really until the late 80s. And that's when Secret Wars came out with Mattel. And this was about, I want to say, somewhere around 12 maybe to 14 characters came out in this line. It didn't last very long. It was only 2 years. It was tied to the comic. You can see the Doom here looks a little different than the Doom here. Not a successful run. This was a successful run. This had 5 waves of toys. It had 2 waves of vehicles, 2 waves of play sets, had role-playing sets, it had large-size figures, electronic figures. Altogether, I think there was something like 38 figures or something like that. A lot more. Very successful line. Now, they were a victim of their own success. Of course, it hopped into the X-Men line, which we did as well around the same time frame. That became vastly more successful. A lot more figures in that line. And then that kept going beyond the initial run. And then there's the Fantastic Four line, which we also showed you in '94. Then there was the Iron Man line. We haven't done that one. But this is kind of what started it all for them. And this is pretty awesome. I think these are pretty awesome. I'm glad to show them to you. So you can see right here, you have our first wave, which is these 8 figures. And I call these the 8 backs because, as you see now on the back of the card, you have just those 8 figures featured in not actual shots of the product, but pictures of the comic rendition or the drawings of the character. So you get this unique artwork, and each one has a picture of the character, which is really fun because a little blurb about the character, a little photo of the character with the "Hey kids, 50% off Marvel Comics subscriptions." And these were the 8 backs. Now, some of these figures were reissued, and that's going to be in wave 4, and we'll cover that. Not all of them were, but the backs of the cards will change, and then a little bit on the front of the cards will change too. We're getting ahead of ourselves. We'll get there. You can also see on the back we had playset 2 vehicles that were part of this first wave. We're going to do all the playsets together, and we're going to do all the vehicles together, so we don't get separate there. But yeah, for right now, we're going to be focusing on this wave. We're going to show you off all the characters. As you can see, they're brand new in package. So these figures, I mean, some of these aren't even, look at this. It's a non-punch Spider-Man. It's almost a shame to open these, but I mean, we have to show them off to you. So these figures are going to be like they were in their heyday. There's no, there's essentially no disfiguration or wearing on them. So you're going to see how they performed as long as they aren't falling apart after being in the card for over 20 or 34 years at this point. So we're going to open these up, check them out, see how they were, and then we'll hold on to them because they're going to come back in both our vehicle and playset reviews. So why don't you guys come on closer? All right, here we go. We're going to break this up in half. Here, we're going to start with the Silver Surfer here. Love that artwork. Here we go. Now, we showed you Silver Surfer in our Marvel Toy Biz Fantastic Four line, and this is a little different. This one is in chrome. He's got a little board here. You can see the little rubber on there is starting to wear off, even though this is brand new out of package. I believe if you pull it back, it should, surf forward. And it does. So he has, this is pretty good for 1990. He's got joints here in the knees. So his knees bend, and he has articulating arms and the head. And that's really it. It's a very simple design to it. The feet, let's see how well they go into this. I know we struggled with that other Silver Surfer, but the feet on this one actually go into the board, and he actually surfs. So we'll give him a shot. There he goes. He actually works. Very, very happy to see the first one out of the gate here is actually performing the way it's supposed to. This table, for some reason, I've always had problems getting stuff to move on here too, but this one is actually working. So that's our Silver Surfer. He is still functioning after all these years. Next up, we have the Hulk. More great artwork. Show you that up close. The Hulk here is comes with a couple of accessories. One, he has this boulder. It's this thin, transparent, or very light, hollow boulder. And then he has these I want to say it's a metal pipe or something that he has here that he could bend. So the Hulk, you could see the switch in the back. And what it does is a two-part switch. You could raise the arms, and then he could condense his arms here this way. So you could raise them and condense them. So the two things you could do is, one, you could put this little metal bar in there, so it makes it look like he's bending it and then stretching it like this. So that's pretty cool. And then the other thing you could do is you could pick up this boulder and then drop it. So that's basically all you can do with the Hulk. Pretty cool for a figure to have that kind of functionality though. He could Hulk out, he could punch if you were doing that. No turning at the waist there, but his legs do articulate. Although I was afraid that was going to snap. Still fresh out of the package, but it hasn't been moved in almost 35 years. So that is your Hulk. Not bad for a 1990 Hulk. Really like this. It's got a lot of charm to it. A lot of very vintage charm to it. I mean, it is vintage. So that is your Hulk. Moving on here, we have our web crawler. Now, there were like 6 Spider-Mans, I think, in this line. We'll go over all of them, of course. But here you go. You have your Spider-Man. Each of them had a different functionality, so it wasn't the same figure over and over again. They did re-release one figure, though. We'll go to that. So this is, I believe, wall-crawling Spider-Man. Web suction hands is what it's called on the front. And he has these little suction hands, and they should stick on a surface. I'll try it in just a moment. And he comes with this little web that looks familiar to me to another part of the collection. We'll get to that later. But he comes with this little web. It's kind of like rubbery. There's nothing special about it other than the symbol in the middle here. And he has those articulating knees. And I mean, great Spider-Man likeness for 1990. You can even tell it's got that vintage style comic mask on there. Let's see if we get him to stick with these suction hands. Give a little moisture in there. These are very old, but they should still work. And they do. Look at that. He still suctions onto a surface. And these will all come back when we go to that first playset, because that playset from the Wave 1, the training headquarters, was made for these figures. All 8 of these figures have a role in that playset, and we'll cover that later. But here we go. That is our first Spider-Man of all the Spider-Men we're going to be covering. And I'm not sure what this is supposed to do. I mean, I guess you could throw it on an enemy or another guy, but I mean, that's really it. So that is our Spider-Man. Now the next one here is the Punisher. Very controversial character. The 90s, there are a lot of violent toys. And this one, as you can see, cap firing weapons. There's like, I think there's 4 unique Punishers, and we're going to cover them all. This one came with instructions on loading the caps into it. So back then you could roll caps, very common in a lot of these toys, to be able to insert in there. So here's our figure, and you can see here is Frank Castle, Punisher likeness. Punch on one hand, the other hand is for holding weapons. That's basically what this figure does. He has articulating legs, and that is all. And then you can see in the back here, it's his little cap device. So is all this is doing basically is for shooting caps. So I'll show you some of the accessories he has. He has just 4 guns. Almost every Punisher came with the same weapons over and over again. We'll show you what we mean by that in the end of all the videos. But yeah, he came, even the Punisher wagon, or the Punisher van, I'm sorry, came with these 4 guns. It comes with like this Desert Eagle here. It comes with this Uzi type of machine pistol. I think it is just an Uzi. There we go. Comes with this Uzi. And it comes with this assault rifle, which is weird because I got one Punisher that came with 2 assault rifles by accident. So I'll show you that one when we get to it. And then we have this, looks like a Chicago typewriter or a Tommy gun from like those, either Dick Tracy or something else. You can see it right here. And those are basically the 4 weapons he came with. They would just go in his hand like this, and he would be able to fire them, and then you get simulated with the sound of the cap firing. So I happen to have a roll of caps. I have no idea if this is going to work. We'll try it out. This is this figure hasn't really been used in over 35 years. It shouldn't matter, though. I'm not really sure how to even feed these in here. It says you feed them from the bottom somehow. Maybe this opens up. I think it's supposed to. So there we go. You pull it out like this. You feed these through here, like so. they come in through the bottom. We're figuring this out for the first time here on this video. And you feed them into the bottom here, and then you pull them out through the top. So I got it threaded. Now I just need, this is why I need smaller hands, or I need tweezers in this room sometimes to just pull things through here. Okay, here we go. So we got this through now. And I guess that's it. So now I got it through, and I will seat this back in, and we'll see if it works. I mean, these might not be the right size caps. So we'll just have to see if this, no, that didn't work. Here we go. We'll see if this works. These look like the right size caps. But it's about lining the hammer up perfectly, or just having a bigger cap. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this to function. I don't know if these are the right caps. I don't know if this is the right way to do this, but that's ideally how it would work. You'd get the caps lined up in there, and if I could get it working by the end of the video, I will show you guys again, but that's essentially how this one works. All right, we're going to change gears and do the other 4 in this line. Continuing on, we have our Daredevil here. Daredevil looking sharp, you know, returning from that Secret Wars line as well. This time, I really like the design of him here. Though he almost looks like the Flash from the DC line, based on the colors here. He's got a little goo on the back. I'm not sure where that's from. But this is your Daredevil here. Not a bad design. Very basic. The DD on the chest there. I mean, he might be a copy of some characters from some other lines, honestly. He's got articulating legs there. He comes with this like harpoon gun, and they call it, I think, like a billy club or something like that, extending billy club. And that's his like harpoon gun. So I'm going to unravel this thing. Wow, this thing has really got reach on it. So they have it all wrapped up here, and you put it here, you put it in his hand. I think one of his hands, yep, his hand allows you to hold it. And we will see Daredevil return in Wave 5, as well as a new version, which will basically be a repaint. But he has his billy club here, and you can fire that. There you go. And that is the extending line for the Daredevil. Okay, after Daredevil, we got Victor Von Doom. Awesome artwork. Here we go. Now, he has some unique features here. No instructions or anything like that. He basically comes with his little drill gun. And then he comes with this like dish. It's called a Drive Force dish. I kind of like how Doom looks. I mean, I love the cape. It's on there. I think there's a way to take it off. But yeah, I mean, he's pretty awesome. He has this hand here that twists. There's a little mechanism in the back you can see here. And you just kind of, oh, I'm sorry, it's this hand that twists. There's a little mechanism in the back here that you can make it spin basically as you turn it with this handle, and that's pretty cool. So basically what you would do is you put this weird fan thing in here, which I don't know what that's supposed to be. It's some kind of twisting fan thing, or you could put this drill gun in there, and it could make his drill gun spin. I think the drill gun makes more sense because it is a drill, but you would put it in there like that, and then you'd take this little disc out in the back here, and then you turn it like so. So that is basically what Doom does, and you can reset the hand back to its upright position. And then, yeah, kind of like how that extends out of the back to give you that extra option of reaching. But that is your Dr. Doom, another villain in this line. I think the villains are underserved in this first wave. It's mostly heroes, but it is called Marvel Superheroes and not Marvel Supervillains. So now we got Cap. Cap over here. People are kind of split on his shield gimmick. I mean, here's his shield, and you could obviously just hold that in his hand. But what he has here is this little mechanism that launches the shield. First, looking at Cap, I think they did a solid job of making Cap look like Comic Cap here. I mean, he's got his emblem, he's got his articulating legs, he's ready to fight. So, like I said, you could put that on his wrist here, just like that, and then you have the display shield. Or you could put this mechanism on his arm, and it basically launches the shield. So if you wanted to have a I think I have it backwards actually. If you wanted to have a shield launch ability, you kind of put this on here, so it kind of looks like he's holding it, and it's like a wrist launcher here, and I think it goes in like this. Again, no instructions on this, so you're just kind of like figuring it out as a kid. Things were intuitive, And then there's a button, and you just kind of, oh, here we go. There we go. Launch it out like that. So that's basically Cap, and that's how Cap came equipped with his shield. I mean, you know, what else can you say about Captain America? And then here we go. We got Doc Ock rounding it out, the only other villain in this line. I believe Doc Ock was in that Secret Wars line too, so we got him returning here. I like this very like Golden Age comic look for Doc Ock, where he's got these tentacles. He's got his goggles on there. He's wearing his old green and oranges, and then he's got these tentacles. And these tentacles come out, and they're a little, what is it? It's like wire inside here. So some of them have claws, some of them have suction cups. So again, another character you could use on the suction cups. And then these claws have a little give on them. You could snap them on things. But that is your Dr. Octopus. And I think he is pretty cool as well in this line. He's got some articulation to him. He can still punch. He's got that head turn. But I mean, look at that. That is pretty cool. I mean, it's hard to make him stand, but you can with the arms. You get extra points of contact there for the floor. So I mean, these are the only villains you got in this line. Is Doom and Octopus. So some, you know, high level villains there, and then you got your ton of heroes here. You got Daredevil. You got Hulk. You got Silver Surfer. You got Spider-Man. You got Captain America, you got Punisher. Punisher, a weird choice. I mean, he was just emerging in popularity at the time, but nonetheless, he landed in this line. So that is basically your line here. And you know what? As a bonus, I got Punisher working. I just had you have to feed it in just right in order to get the wheel to catch so it could bring it up. So we'll try this one more time with Punisher so you guys can see that firing effect that he has with the caps. Whoop, as my cap ends up falling. But once you get the caps in there, you just kind of pull this back, and there you go. I just got one. So it kind of misses in between, but you get that cap. You'll see a little spark back here. There it goes, and then a little smoke, and then you get that pop sound as it makes the firing noise. Still works. I mean, it's just the hammer mechanism. I got these off Amazon. I'll put the link on there. And they're the perfect size once you get them seated in there properly, and then you could make this figure go all day. So that is your look at Wave 1 of the Marvel Superheroes from Toy Biz. And there's our first wave. I mean, what a way to start, right? I mean, core characters like Spider-Man, who became massively popular. You pair him with a classic Spider-Man villain. You got Cap and Hulk from the Avengers here. You pair him with Dr. Doom. I'm not sure why Silver Surfer made it into the cut so early. I mean, there's a Fantastic Four wave coming. But then you got some supporting characters to Spider-Man like Daredevil and Punisher, who was kind of a villain at the time, but made that transition into hero as well. And it's odd how much love he got in this line with, I believe, 4 Punisher figures, unique Punisher figures, and then also that Punisher van, which is pretty controversial, but nonetheless, the character, you know, is pretty cool at the time. Had a fun little gimmick to him with this pop feature with the caps. But yeah, I mean, this was a great way to start off the line. We're going to have 6 more parts. We're going to cover Wave 2, Wave 3, Wave 4 and 5 together, the electronic figures and the supersized figures, the vehicles, and then the playsets. So we'll break it up like that so we can check everything out. The playsets came out in 2 waves. We're just going to throw them all together. So did the vehicles. So we want to make sure we have everything sort of divided up so it's easier for you to find it on the archive. I have not seen anything out on the internet that has done everything. They might have done parts of it, or they're saying, well, I didn't get this character or that character because I didn't feel like it, or I felt it was a repeat. We'll show you why that's wrong, but this might be the best look at this collection that anyone's ever done, so please tune back for future videos as we capture all this. So we hope you enjoyed this. We hope you check out the rest of our parts as we bring them out in the next month and a half or so. And yeah, I mean, check out our other Toy Biz videos as well. We've done the Uncanny X-Men and the Evil Mutants, and we did all the Fantastic Four line as well. So as always, like, subscribe, and follow. We'll see you guys next time.